I'm Faye What, and let's queer up politics. Gay, Jewish California lawmaker says he was harassed at San Francisco trans march. California State Senator Scott Wiener says he was harassed, threatened, and physically intimidated while attending San Francisco's trans march, forcing him to leave the annual event for the first time since it began in 2004. Wiener, an out-gay Jewish Democrat representing San Francisco and a candidate to succeed retiring Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi, said a group surrounded him in Dolores Park as he headed to a trans-led Pride Shabbat service. Wiener wrote, quote, "Last night I attended the trans march, as I've done each year for the past 22 years since the first march in 2004. They made statements about my Israeli handlers, among many other inaccurate, extreme, and vile statements. They were so physically and verbally aggressive that it was impossible for me to safely remain in the park. I have no objection whatsoever to anyone disagreeing with me, opposing me, or protesting me. All of that is core to democracy. But when opposition and disagreement transition to harassment, including cornering me, touching me, or trying to physically bully me out of a public event, that crosses a line," end quote. The incident has drawn condemnation from elected officials and LGBTQ advocates, including the Human Rights Campaign and LGBTQ plus Victory Institute leaders, who warned about rising political intimidation and anti-Semitism targeting LGBTQ plus public officials. You know, you don't have to agree with Scott Wiener on everything to agree on one thing. Nobody should be bullied out of pride, and nobody should be touched without permission. You know, protest is protected. Physical intimidation isn't. If we're fighting hate, we can't become what we're fighting.
Right, exactly. And, you know, on both sides of the political spectrum, the extreme right and the extreme left have very similar tactics of trying to bully people. And the thing is you don't have to be pro-Israel. You don't have to agree with everything that the Israeli government does. It doesn't make you anti-Jewish, but what really hurts the community, the gay community, the queer community, the Jewish community, is when we can't have a diversity of opinions. And I understand that the people there say, you know, you can't be queer and support a genocide. He has come out publicly and said, and wrote on X, Twitter, whatever it's called, he's come out and said that he believes that what is happening in Gaza is a genocide. Whether or not you agree that it's a genocide or not, he has capitulated in a way to the people that want him to capitulate. So,
and what was that he didn't release that that rendering in time?
I think that's what it is. I think they, the people on the left, or the people, you know, in the trans community, and in every community probably on the Democratic side, feels as though he wasn't forceful enough in his condemnation of what the Israeli government is doing in Gaza. And, you know, you could agree or disagree with that, but don't chase the guy out of a public event. I mean, I feel kind of bad for him. I mean, I feel bad for the children in Gaza as well.
Of course.
But I do want to say that I feel kind of bad for him. He's not a part of that. He's not dropping bombs on these people.
Right, and he's been going to this for the last 22 years.
I know.
You know, nobody has that kind of commitment to our community. You know what I mean? Like, God!
So it was just a little disheartening to me as a Jewish person. I don't want to play the Jewish card, but I do want to say that when I see a fellow Jew who has been so good to the LGBTQ plus community being chased out of an event, it kind of hurts my heart. And it also hurts my heart to see what's happening geopolitically in the world. So, you know, two things can be true at once. You don't always have to agree with everything the Israeli government is doing, but I also don't agree with what my side is doing in terms of the people that might not capitulate 100% in the time frame that they want them to.
But like you said, two things could be the same, could be true happening and true at once. Yeah. And I think that that's what a lot of people are like. You know, I personally have friends that are afraid to say anything because they feel if they say something, automatically someone's going to say that they're being anti-Semitic.
Yeah.
You know, and so, I mean, come on, that's awful when we all have so many incredible Jewish friends. Like, how are you going to not feel like you can talk to your friend?
Exactly. And I feel that we as Jewish people, or I as a Jewish person, have to do maybe a better job at allowing a diversity of opinions. You know, I don't think that everybody that has, you know, a negative view about what Israel is doing in the Middle East, I don't think that that's Jew hatred. I think that, you know, you're an American or wherever you're from and you're looking at a foreign country who's doing certain things that maybe don't align with your values. It doesn't mean that you are anti-Jewish. I think what crosses a line is when people make ad hominem or against a person, personal attacks against somebody. I think that's when it crosses a line.
Yeah.
And I think what these people did by chasing him off, they didn't even allow him to speak. And I felt like he was so defeated. And this was I think the second or the third time.
So it's not even the first time.
He's been chased
you
out
know,
of something.
and as gay people, for one, I'm triggered by that. You know what I mean? Growing up in a world where we're bullied, you know, from every angle, like we're doing that to our own people.
Right.
And to have your own community come after you like that is pretty scary and stuff. And especially for, you know, a lot of the things that you're believing in are the same, you know. So yeah, you know, for me, you know, as someone that has their own ideas and stuff, if I'm standing in a crowd and something and people are coming at me, that's frightening.
Right. And you know, the thing is these were supposedly, I guess, Jewish people that were chasing off another Jewish person because it was a Shabbat service.
Yeah.
You know, so it's complicated. And, you know, I think a lot of Jewish people, such as I can only speak for myself, but a lot of Jewish people, I'm sure, are trying to navigate in a world where their gay or queer identity can also coincide with their Jewish identity as well. And it's a very fine line and a tightrope that you have to walk, because Israel is becoming a litmus test on whether or not you're ideologically pure enough to be in the Democratic Party. And I will never vote Republican, but there are some people on the Democratic side that I think are so extreme. And it doesn't mean that I support everything that I see in Israel, but I also can't agree with, you know, from the river to the sea, no Jews there, you know, so it's complicated. And I'm sorry we live in a world where we have to make these, you know, negotiations. So
thank you for being you and sharing you. You know, if you have any more Jewish questions, relay them to Brian Bender. He will be at Instagram at Brian Bender.
Right. Brian_in_Wilton Manor. So all one word.
You'll find him. Okay. Ask him whatever.
Yeah.
And there is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by sharing them and subscribing to Queer News Tonight.